Hi. So, where were you when you got the news that this pandemic was here to stay? What happened? Transport yourself back over a year ago. And I want you to capture that moment, like freeze frame it for a minute. How naive we were, how innocent we were. Thankfully, I guess, in that we didn't know this would be a year and we're still not out. But we are thinking about, now that the immunizations are here, we're thinking about emerging. We're feeling hopeful, just like the crocus that's poking through the hard ground. It's like we're ready to emerge. We've been ready for a long time. Who am I kidding? But we're actually having those conversations. What's it like? What's it going to be like? And I really want to give you an opportunity to reframe this. I mean, crisis can be illuminating. Crisis is clarifying for us. I keep a 5-year journal, so I just write 3 or 4 sentences every day. And this is actually the 5th year, so I've been doing it for 5 years. And yesterday, a year ago, I wrote that my sister and I got on a Zoom call, even though she lives less than 2 miles away. And as soon as I saw her, I burst into tears. I felt it. I felt the grief. I felt the loss, the fear, all of this. And in fact, a few days prior, I wrote, they're saying, the experts are saying this might last a month or two. So how naive we were, and yet how now we have this perspective. We have this opportunity to say, hey, what did I learn here? How can I study this time? How we responded to crisis is illuminating about who we are and how we roll. And I don't want to miss this opportunity. So whatever, I guess I would even, the day after I sent that, I had that conversation with my sister where I started crying as soon as I saw her. I sent a message to my clients, a video message. I didn't even know how to do those then. So of course I've learned now, but didn't know how to do it then. So I figured it out. I had bedhead. I hadn't even meditated yet, my cup of tea. I was a hot mess, but I was vulnerable and transparent, and I really wanted to connect. I wanted to be real and authentic, and I wanted to connect with my clients right there where I was, knowing that they were probably right there too, scared, uncertain, etc. And what I asked them to do, and this was my existing clients as well as past clients, I asked them to take a moment and ask themselves, who do you want to be on the other side of this? So cry, feel the fear, do whatever you need to do, reflect, craft a strategy. Right? Craft a plan, because the fact is this is going to impact us, and we have some say over the degree to which it impacts us. We can't be responsible for the crisis, but what we can be responsible for 100% is how we respond to it. So I sent out a battle cry to all my clients, past and present, and really worked with the existing clients to say, hey, let's just write a plan. My previous clients, they knew what to do. They shifted into blank storm protocol. Not sure what I'm allowed to say on these things, but you know what I mean. Right? Life is going to present crises. Life is going to present challenges. And none of us could have dreamed of this. At least I certainly didn't. And I know many people couldn't have fathomed this either. But whether it's a big scale like this or a smaller scale, we're going to be challenged. We're going to be tested. And we need to know how to rise. We need to decide before we're in it how we're going to respond. Because the crisis could last a week, in this case, a year, maybe two, but how we respond to it could last a lifetime. So it's really important that we get intentional and deliberate instead of falling into that fear and reactivity. So my clients, past clients, got it. We know what to do. And the clients with whom I was working, it was perfect learning opportunity. We were right in it to be able to really figure out, how do I show up for myself in the presence of a crisis? And for many of us, we really just said, in this vacation mindset, like, oh, well, I'll deal with it on the other side. I'll take care of myself on the other side. I'll make better food choices on the other side. I'll manage my mind and my thinking on the other side, right? But the other side was so far away. So we really needed to intervene and say, okay, what's the plan? So I made a decision in the very early stages, still in March, that I was going to emerge from this stronger than I had been. Physically stronger, emotionally stronger, spiritually stronger. I was going to leverage this time. And because I didn't want to waste it, I knew that when the greatest growth for me has always come from challenge, always come from struggles, and in some cases, trauma. So I knew I had an opportunity to level up. I didn't forget the humanity. I didn't forget the suffering, mine or anybody else's. I was present with that, but at the same time, I was more committed and focused to how I wanted to emerge to this moment right now. So I made a decision and then I crafted a plan. And the bottom line is, if you didn't make a decision and you reacted, you just handled what was in front of you, and that was the best that you could do, I absolutely get that. That is totally a legitimate way to respond. So I want you to forgive yourself if you need to. If you gained some weight, you binged on Netflix, you've been drinking too much, it doesn't matter right now. You can reinvent yourself at any time, in any moment. So if you have to forgive yourself, let it go. But don't forget to study yourself. We could hang out in regret and remorse, and as long as we learn from it up to a point, it can be helpful, but then let it go. I mean, really, we don't need to be more stuck. We need to be liberated. So let's liberate ourselves by being deliberate. Let's liberate ourselves by being reflective and insightful about how we showed up for this crisis, how we handled something that was so terrifying when we felt like we didn't have control. What did we miss? I don't know about you, but I will never take a hug for granted again. I miss hugging. I miss just holding hands with the people that I love, squeezing them with a hug, just letting them know with that physical presence, that physicality, how much they mean to me. And I miss so many other things. I miss massage. Big time. I got a tooth cleaning right before we shut down into quarantine, but I cannot wait. I already have an appointment to get my teeth cleaned. Like these things that we take for granted, I don't think we're ever going to take for granted again. There is a likelihood that we will if we don't study this and capture right now all the lessons that we have available to us in our fingertips about who we are and how we respond to crisis. So write a list of everything that you really, really missed, and then craft a plan for making sure that they happen. The other thing is, what didn't you miss? I'm hearing over and over again from clients and people with whom I interact in my speaking work, and they're telling me that they don't miss going out. A lot of people discovered they were homebodies that felt compelled to be living a more extroverted life than was really their nature. So I'm hearing that a lot of people are going to choose to stay in a little bit more, believe it or not. I'm sure we're all going to be like racing out when we're free to do so, but then we're going to discover, what is that cadence? What's that pace? How much time do I need to be in the world, and how much time do I need to be in my home? So all of these things are opportunities, glimpses into our authentic selves. So we don't need to ask permission for staying in. We know we have that. We've always had that permission. We just weren't giving it to ourselves. So permission granted. If you discover that you like to stay in more, then by all means honor that and figure out what is enough. Isn't that always a question I keep bringing back to you? What is enough? When have you crossed into too much? In any way, did you miss eating out? Could you raise your standards a little bit for where you eat out? Be more discerning. Maybe you saved a ton of money and maybe it shows in your waistline that you weren't eating out as much. Now, of course, I want to support the restaurants, and I'm eager to get back to some of my favorites and to explore new ones. We want to support this industry. We just need to do it in a way that supports our health too. Because, hello, pandemic, like our health is paramount. If you didn't know that before, let's actually make this the time that we understand it is paramount, that it was important all along, and maybe we fell asleep at the wheel. But here we are, understanding exactly that our health was first and foremost, and it always needs to be, because by the way, all of it goes. Absolutely all of it goes when we don't have health in place. So the other piece is maybe you were wearing heels and now you discover, I love wearing my indoor shoes, right? Yay, then skip the heels for goodness sakes, right? Or you love wearing more casual clothes, or you loved having this quiet morning routine without the commute. Is there a way that you can capture this? So what did you miss? Well, what didn't you miss? and then craft a plan to really honor it, to take forward the things that you want to bring into this new life. Again, we get to reinvent ourselves at any point, but what a perfect time right now. It's like a whole January 1st all over again. So here we have an opportunity to, I really encourage you every 90 days, with or without a crisis, every 90 days, start looking. That's why I have my planner in a 90-day window, because we want to reinvent ourselves again. We want to give ourselves permission and the time and space and the pause to decide again who we want to be. Who do we want to be on the other side of 90 days? We can do that at a weekly level. We could do it at a monthly level. We can do it at the 90-day, or we can wait till a crisis comes, right? There will always be some crisis. The matter of degree varies, but what doesn't have to vary is how we show up for ourselves. How do we show up and have our own backs when really we need to be fortified more than ever? So learn what you needed to learn from this. Take an hour. Just sit with your planner, a piece of paper, whatever it is. What do I want to bring forward? What version of me did I like? What do I want to let go of? What can I do differently? Renegotiate this relationship that you have with yourself. Extract every opportunity that you can to really study you at your best. Look at food, thought, exercise, time, sleep. Look at these core areas that have been impacted for all of us. And again, it doesn't matter how you handled it up to this point. Extract what you can, but then begin again. Allow right now in this moment for you to decide, who do you want to be 90 days from now? It's 100% up to us. Every single day, we're given a canvas. So just like Dave shared what his plan is, share your plan. Did you have a plan? If you didn't have a plan, and a lot of people just white knuckled it, like, oh, every day, like, oh, we're going to get out soon, we're going to get out, right? The plan was hope, right? And that's a noble plan. It's a really important plan. But let's step it up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more structure right now. Say, what is your plan for the next 90 days? Share it with us. And really give ourselves permission to learn without judgment, but with curiosity, with compassion. What did we learn through this crisis? And what are we going to bring forward? How is it going to shape us going forward? Don't waste this. There's nothing like a good crisis to learn a ton about life in general, like existential life, the big life with a capital L, but also our daily lives and our character and our personality and who deeply matters. There are people that have been central through this pandemic for you. I'm sure of it. And maybe the people that were a little peripheral are even more so. This is clarifying. Who are the people that really mattered? If you could only tend to a number of relationships, what are those relationships? And figure out a way to make those the priority going forward. When we're in crisis, it distills down our priorities, makes everything abundantly clear. So benefit from it, leverage it, learn from it. I'm really excited to see how you emerge, hopefully with more wisdom, with more clarity, and a real commitment to be discerning and intentional and be you.